how we make ourselves suffer. Clean pain versus dirty pain, and the path to inner peace. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another mindful episode of Bipolar Talks, your safe space for thoughtful, heartfelt, and deeply human conversations about emotional health, healing, and navigating life with compassion. Before we begin, take a deep, mindful breath. Wherever you are, on a walk, resting in bed, commuting, or sitting with your morning coffee, I invite you to pause and be present with yourself. And if this episode resonates with you, please take a moment to like, comment, subscribe, and share. That one small action can help this message find someone else who's silently struggling. Life hurts, but are we sometimes hurting ourselves more than we realize? Let's start with something we all do. Imagine this. You send a message to a friend. Hours pass, no reply. You reread your message. Was it too much? Did you say something wrong? You start feeling anxious, guilty, confused. You build an entire story in your head. Then later they reply, "Sorry, busy day. Love you." Just like that, your world settles. Sound familiar? What if most of our emotional suffering isn't about what's happening, but about what we tell ourselves is happening? Stay with me, we're going deeper. Why understanding pain matters so much. We all feel pain. Emotional pain is as real and valid as physical pain. But not all pain is created equal. Some pain is part of being alive. We lose someone. We go through heartbreak. We witness injustice. These pains are rooted in reality, and even though they hurt, they hold wisdom. But then there's another kind of pain. The kind we brew inside ourselves. The kind that comes from worry, rumination, resentment, self-criticism, or distorted thinking. This kind of pain sticks around long after the actual event. That's where this episode takes us. Into the difference between clean pain and dirty pain, and how knowing the difference can change your life. What if you could soften your suffering, not by avoiding pain, but by letting go of what you're adding to it? Let's unpack that. Rose's story, when the mind runs away. Meet Rose. A dear friend told her, "I need to talk to you," but didn't say what it was about. They made a coffee date, 2 weeks out. 2 whole weeks passed. And in that time, Rose's mind ran wild. Did I do something wrong? Is she mad at me? Did I offend her or someone she loves? She overanalyzed every recent conversation. She even rehearsed apologies for things she hadn't done. It was exhausting, emotionally and mentally draining. When they finally met, her friend took a deep breath and said, "I'm getting a divorce." That's it. Suddenly, everything shifted. Rose felt compassion. Her worry dissolved. Her guilt vanished. She leaned in and held space for her friend. What Rose experienced was 2 different kinds of pain. Dirty pain during those 2 weeks of imagined blame. Clean pain the moment she felt her friend's heartbreak. How many times have we suffered, not because of reality, but because of the stories we told ourselves while we waited for it? What is clean pain? Clean pain is real, honest emotion that arises from being alive. It's the grief when someone we love is gone. It's the sadness after a breakup. It's the vulnerability of loving someone who may not love us back. It's the sting of regret from something we wish we had done differently. It's raw, but it's also freeing. Clean pain moves. It flows. It helps us process, grow, and heal. Think of it like a thunderstorm. Loud, powerful, even overwhelming, but once it passes, the air is clearer. You feel grounded. Why do we love sad movies or songs that make us cry? Because there's beauty in feeling deeply. That's clean pain. A pain that connects rather than isolates. What is dirty pain? Dirty pain is pain we create by resisting or distorting what is. It shows up as overthinking, catastrophizing, blaming ourselves or others, holding grudges, obsessing about the past, fear of future what-ifs, shaming ourselves for feeling anything at all. It's like reliving a wound over and over, picking at a scab that was already healing. Dirty pain is often silent. It whispers things like, "You're not enough. Everyone is judging you." They haven't replied because they're upset. "This always happens to me." Ever been caught in a loop where one thought spirals into an avalanche of emotion? That's dirty pain doing its thing. Dirty pain feels real, but it's optional. Let's be gentle here. Dirty pain feels just as real as clean pain, and often it shows up automatically. But here's the good news. Because it's self-created, it's also self-reversible. This isn't about blaming yourself for feeling bad. It's about gently learning to notice when your suffering is something you're layering on top of reality. Imagine carrying a backpack. Life hands you a rock, clean pain. But instead of just carrying the rock, you pile in shame, fear, self-judgment, what-ifs, and past regrets, dirty pain. Now the backpack is unbearable. What if you could learn to carry only what's truly yours? What if you could put down what's making it heavier than it needs to be? Two dangerous thought patterns that fuel dirty pain. When emotional pain hits, we tend to fall into one of two traps. 1. This isn't my fault. There's nothing I can do. Life's just unfair. 2. It's all my fault. I ruin everything. I'm broken. Both lead to helplessness. One turns you into a victim of everything around you. The other turns you into your own worst enemy. Neither one helps you take action. Neither one empowers healing. What if there's a middle path? One where you can hold pain gently, take responsibility wisely, and move forward without shame? Let's explore that. Radical responsibility, the gentle power to change. Here's a life-changing truth. You are 100% responsible for what you are responsible for, and nothing more. This is called radical responsibility. It means you're not responsible for someone else's reactions. You're not responsible for things outside your control, but you are responsible for your thoughts, behaviors, boundaries, and healing. It's not about perfection. It's about clarity. It's saying, I didn't cause this pain, but I can choose how to respond to it. I'm not to blame for everything, but I have power to change some things. That kind of clarity lights the way out of stuckness and shame. Mike's story. A wake-up call at work. Let's talk about Mike. Mike was given a big project at work. It was complicated. He worked on it some days, got distracted other days. His coworkers weren't on time. There were delays in the system. The deadline came. The work wasn't done. His boss yelled harshly. Mike felt ashamed, angry, hurt. He blamed his coworkers. He blamed his boss. He blamed himself. He went home, sat on the couch, and started spiraling. I'm a failure. I always mess up. I hate my job. I'll never be good enough. Sound familiar? Mike was drowning in dirty pain. But then he did something simple. He wrote things down. What Mike was responsible for. His effort. His time management. His ability to communicate. How he interpreted the feedback. How he spoke to himself afterward. What he was not responsible for. His boss's emotions. His coworkers' delays. The supply chain issues. The unrealistic deadline. This simple act gave him clarity. Instead of spiraling into self-loathing, Mike chose to have an honest talk with his boss. He owned his part. He also asked for more realistic timelines. And slowly, he stopped beating himself up. What if you did that too? What if you took inventory of what's really yours to carry and gently released the rest? Tools to untangle dirty pain. Let's talk practical. When you notice yourself stuck in dirty pain, try this. 1. Name it. This is dirty pain. I'm adding layers to what's real. 2. Breathe. Anchor into the body. Feel your feet. Let your shoulders drop. 3. Separate. Ask. What actually happened? What am I telling myself about it? 4. Own your part. What do I control here? 5. Release the rest. Visualize handing it back to the universe. Imagine how light life could feel if you stopped holding things that were never yours to carry, turning pain into peace. We all suffer. That's part of being human. But suffering doesn't always mean something is wrong. And more importantly, we don't have to suffer more than we already do. Clean pain invites healing. Dirty pain delays it. So the next time pain arises, ask, is this clean pain or dirty pain? What's real here? What story am I telling? What can I choose now? From that space, peace becomes possible. Thank you for tuning in to this mindful episode of Bipolar Talks. We hope this conversation gave you permission to breathe, reflect, and maybe release something heavy. If this episode resonated, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. You never know whose day or life you might change just by sharing this message. And remember, even when it feels like you're falling apart, you are healing in ways you cannot yet see. Disclaimer: this episode is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for therapy or professional mental health care. Always consult a qualified expert for personal guidance.